Hi guys, welcome to my channel. It's me, Chrissy, and today I'm doing a cute puppy. So I'm just blocking in the background. I'm using a vivid red orange in Liquitex Basics to actually just put the first application on. I'm just softening it here with my mop brush, and then I dry it off thoroughly, and then I use a cadmium orange hue also in Liquitex Basics just to vignette it in slightly on the edges. So I've let the first layer dry, like I said, and then applied the second layer. I'm just blending it out, just so there's no harsh edges as such. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I really enjoyed painting this for you and putting it on here. Now I've got my puppy drawn on. He's a little corgi, puppy. So I'm just blocking him in with some burnt umber and a tiny bit of sienna. Thin layer, I'm just doing it nice and thin, no thick paint. And the orange on the background is helping me with the layers, obviously, doing a nice thin layer to start with. So obviously we're going to let that dry and then darken the values as we go. Like you can see I'm doing here, I'm just adding some more burnt umber, a darker burnt umber, just to get the shadows in. These little creases. They're cute, aren't they? All puppies are cute anyway, but he is cute. So here on the lighter bits, I'm just adding more sienna, and on the darker bits, I'm just adding more burnt umber. Now here I'm using a buff titanium mixed with a tiny little bit of sienna, not much, just a tiny bit. And I'm just filling in where his white fur is going to be. I'm using a nice soft velvet brush. You'll see me use this brush before. But any brush you're comfortable with is just fine. A bit lighter on his ears in there. So I go around and just keep checking my lights and darks. Letting each layer dry, then coming back and doing another layer. Just getting his little chin done and a bit of shadow under his neck there. So I'm just lightening the burnt umber with some white, just to get them lighter shadows. I'm just doing a thin glaze here of cadmium yellow. Back to the buff titanium to fill his face in. As you can see, it's a nice thin layer. So you can still see all the shadows underneath. I'm just darkening his eyes. I've used a dark mixture. I've used some burnt umber and some ultramarine blue to get that nice dark value for his nose and his eyes. I'm just using a little bigger brush. Then I've just added a bit of Payne's Grey just to lighten it slightly. Just around the eyes and on his lips. And as you see, as the video gets in further, you'll see all the values come together. Same here where his little claws are, his little feet. If you enjoyed this, guys, please give us a thumbs up. I appreciate that. It's all welcome. And if you have any comments, you can leave in the comments section and I'll get back to you. I'm just using a thin glaze of burnt umber here. It's really thin, just to give a little bit of a shadow under his belly and where his feet are. I'm going in with a Naples yellow into his insides of his ears. And I've mixed some titanium white with that just to make it a bit more opaque. And if you enjoy art, I do have a Facebook group, which you can see the link for that in the underneath this video. To do all sorts in the Facebook group. We set challenges, we post as art, we ask for advice. You know, we're really friendly and helpful in there. It's not just paintings. You can join the group if you're a crafter, if you enjoy felting, wet felting, crocheting, knitting, obviously any paintings in oils, acrylics, watercolour, and we'll clay modelling as well, and card making. So everybody's welcome. If you just click on the link and just follow the instructions there, we'll be happy to have you. You can follow me on Instagram as well. I have a link for that. I post regular on Instagram. And I also have a website which I sell my art on there. It's my website, and the link for that's in the description box too. So here I'm just filling it in with that colour that I used in his ears. I'm just going around and making sure I've got these values in right, but I don't want them too deep. And I'm lightening his white fur, but I've just got a tint of blue in there, just a tiny little bit of ultramarine blue, just to tint that white, so I don't want it too bright yet. Like I said, we're in acrylics today, so we're building up each layer, doing nice thin layers. Still using my soft filbert brush. So I'm just doing a bit of texture there to give him a bit of texture, but I haven't left any harshness into it. I've blended some of it out. Same here, same colour here on his legs. And just making this a bit more of a tanny colour. Another layer on his face. And they are cute. I love painting animals. I think that they're my favourite subject to paint, I think, of all things that I paint. I do enjoy painting animals. Now I'm going into his eyes. I've just got some Payne's Grey here, and I've just added a tiny little bit of white. Not too bright though, because you don't want it too bright yet. Just to do the outline of his eyes. Making sure I've got the shapes correct. So I'm going to and forth from the lighter colour of the Payne's Grey, and then darkening the insides with the ultramarine blue and burnt umber. I've gone a bit lighter this time, so it's the same Payne's Grey with just a tiny bit more titanium white in, and a tiny little bit of blue. You can see the actual blue on the brush, just ultramarine blue. So I want these subtle values in. I don't want it too harsh. Just making his nose shape, getting his nose shape correct. And his little lips. Let that dry. Now I'm going in with a bit lighter, but I've still got the blue on. Mixed in with the Payne's Grey and some titanium white. Now I'm going to let his eyes dry. I'll come back to those in a minute. You'll see further on in the video. And now I'm just going in with the white now, but it's still got a slight tint to it. It's not pure titanium white. I've just added a bit of buff titanium with that just to tone it a little bit. And a tiny bit of Naples yellow just to get the darker patches around his muzzle. Same again, I'm just filling his fur in. I'm just doing exactly what I did on the first layer, but just building it up now with a bit more fur texture. Using a soft filbert. Because these dogs have short fur, so we don't want any long fluffiness to him, you know what I mean? He's got quite a short coat. Corgi. Bit like a Jack Russell type coat. Short. You can see all the layers underneath. That's what I mean about working in thin layers. It gives your artwork a bit more depth and a bit more realism to it. I mean, you can still paint loose, don't get me wrong, but you'll still get the nice effect because you've worked up in thin layers. Like I said, we're in acrylics today. Just putting some mid-tone grey in there because I think them values wanted to be a bit deeper before I come back and do the white again like I'm doing here. Now I've gone more titanium white, but this is not my best white. It's like a middle of the range white. That's his little toe sticking out there on the left of his back foot. He's got little knobbly knees as he's as he's a puppy. So I'm trying to get that effect as well. Do his little paw underneath there. Just using my rigger brush just to put a little bit of detail in there, just to get the values correct and the colours on. So he's still looking grey, yeah, which is fine. Like you said, we're building him up. And I think he looks really cute on the orange background. I think it sets him off really nice, being a pet portrait. I'm just doing his belly, his fur on his belly there. He's just got some longer straggly bits. So I thought they were cute, so we're applying that into my painting as well. So now I've gone with some stronger titanium white. It's very opaque. But I'm still checking where my values are, so I'm just going back in with some grey as well. So I did cover some of them up. Which you can do that, you can come back. Then I've gone back down to the middle of the range titanium white, which is not the best, but it's pretty alright. Depending what brand you get. Some are more translucent than others, so just depends what you have. But you should have a really good titanium white in your paint box. You do need it. So I usually use the middle of the range white for like mixing my colours and stuff like that, which is great for that reason. A bit of fur texture in his little ears. I'm just going in with some Naples yellow there, and then just going in with some sienna and some burnt umber again, just to get them dark values round, just to give that effect of 3D, so he's standing out a bit more. He's got his little head up, so he's looking upwards. More wrinkles on his leg. I'm going in with some orange there and some sienna, just to touch up the bottom bit. So thanks guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. I really enjoyed painting it. On screen now are 2 videos you may like to watch, and if you're not already subscribed, click on my face and be sure to click the icon bell to get a notification. As always, thanks for watching and create something wonderful. See you all soon on my next video.